This is NOAA Weather Radio. Station KWO39 in Chicago, Illinois. This broadcast originates from the National Weather Service office in Romeoville, Illinois, operating on a frequency of 162.55 MHz. Here is the local forecast for the Chicago metropolitan area. Today, partly sunny. Highs in the upper 60s. Southwest wind around 5 to 10 miles per hour, with gusts of up to 20 miles per hour. Tonight, cloudy. Lows in the mid-30s. Northwest wind around 10 miles per hour. Chance of precipitation 30%. Tuesday, cloudy, with a 50% chance of showers. Highs in the upper 50s. North wind around 10 to 15 miles per hour. Tuesday night, partly cloudy, with a 30% chance of showers. Lows in the mid-30s. Northwest wind around 5 to 10 miles per hour. Wednesday, cloudy, with a 50% chance of showers. Highs in the mid-60s. West wind around 10 to 15 miles per hour. Wednesday night, cloudy, with a 50% chance of showers. Lows in the upper 40s. Southwest wind around 10 miles per hour. And now the extended weather forecast. Thursday, cloudy. Highs in the upper 50s. Thursday night, cloudy, with a 30% chance of showers. Lows in the upper 30s. Friday, cloudy, with a 50% chance of showers. Highs in the upper 50s. Friday night, partly cloudy, with a 50% chance of showers. Lows in the mid-30s. Saturday, mostly cloudy, with a 30% chance of showers. Highs in the upper 60s. Saturday night, mostly cloudy, with a 30% chance of showers. Lows in the lower 40s. Sunday, partly cloudy. Highs in the lower 60s. Sunday night, mostly cloudy. Lows in the mid-30s. Monday, mostly cloudy. Highs in the upper 60s. Monday night, cloudy.
The following message is being transmitted at the request of the Chicago Fire Department. At 6:48 p.m. Central Standard Time, the Chicago Fire Department has received multiple reports of house fires starting from within the city of Chicago. Fires have been reported in the following areas: Roseland, Rosemore, Fernwood, and North Pullman. The origin of these fires are unknown at this time. As a precaution, all civilians living in Roseland, Rosemore, Fernwood, and North Pullman should remain vigilant and report any fires spotted in the city. Please remain calm at all times. Regular broadcasting may now resume.
Southwest wind around 10 miles per hour. And now the extended weather forecast. Thursday, cloudy. Highs in the up.
The following message is being transmitted at the request of the Chicago Fire Department. More reports of house fires have been received from the following areas: West Roseland, Pullman, and Washington Heights. The fires have now begun to spread to neighborhood areas around the affected locations. The Chicago Fire Department asks all civilians residing within these affected locations to report all fires immediately. The origin of these fires are unknown at this time. Please remain calm. Regular broadcasting has been discontinued. Please stand by for more updates as they become available.
You are listening to WBBM News Radio. We are currently covering news on the ongoing fire situation happening throughout the city of Chicago. As of 7:35 p.m., the fires reported in Roseland, Rosemore, Fernwood, North Pullman, West Roseland, Pullman, and Washington Heights have continued to spread to neighborhooding areas throughout the city of Chicago. The Chicago Fire Department has received over 50 reports of fires within the past 15 minutes. The most recent report came in from a SuperSave gas station located at the corner of West 98th Place and South Halsted Street. Unfortunately, the gas station exploded after a fuel tanker ignited, resulting in the deaths of over 60 people caught in the explosion. As a precaution, a 2-block radius of the SuperSave gas station has been closed off until further notice. The source of these fires are unknown at this time, and it is uncertain if more fires will be reported elsewhere. We advise all civilians residing in the affected areas to report all fires by calling the Chicago Fire Department or dialing 911.
The following message is being transmitted at the request of the Chicago Fire Department and the Chicago Police Department. At 7:34 p.m. Central Standard Time, a large fire has erupted from within the vicinity of the London townhouses. The Chicago Fire Department is struggling to put out existing fires throughout the city of Chicago. Fires have now been reported in the following areas: Logan Square, Bucktown, Wicker Park, and Avondale. Fires are expected to spread to surrounding areas within the next 10 minutes. The origin of these fires remain unknown at this time, but all civilians living in the city of Chicago are instructed to report all fires by calling the Chicago Fire Department or by dialing 911. Report all fires immediately. If you hesitate, it may be too late.
The search for Antarctic explorer Yui Yukimura continues after a severe snowstorm caused her to be separated from the rest of the research team stationed near the coast of Antarctica. The team has failed to establish communication with Yui after evacuating from the continent. Tracking devices have failed to detect signals from her, and some begin to speculate that Yui has completely disappeared far out into an uncharted zone of the frost-ridden continents. Yui's research team Polaris has received aid from the United States, and search teams have been sent into Antarctica to search for any leads to Yui's lost destination.
The following message is being transmitted at the request of the Chicago Police Department. A fuel truck containing gasoline has exploded at the intersection of West North Avenue and North Cicero Avenue. The explosion has severely damaged all buildings near the intersection. The surrounding buildings have been set on fire. The Chicago Fire Department, in conjunction with the Chicago Police Department and the Illinois Department of Transportation, has closed off all roads in and out of the city of Chicago. No one is allowed to enter or exit the city until further notice. Please stand by and await further instructions. The following message is being transmitted at the request of the Chicago Police Department. A chemical fire has erupted in the Monroe subway station. The fire has spread to the following subway stations: Jackson, Clark and Lake, LaSalle, Washington, and Clinton. Trains caught in the fire have exploded, releasing flammable chemicals into the subway tunnels. The fires are expected to spread to other stations in the city of Chicago within the next 20 minutes. All train stations and subway terminals will be closed effective immediately. If you are near any of these locations, leave the vicinity immediately. It is uncertain if more trains will explode as a result of these fires. Please stay tuned to this or other news outlets for the latest information as it becomes available.
You are listening to WBBM News Radio. A civil danger warning remains, in effect, for the entire city of Chicago until further notice. Here are the updates to the ongoing fire situation. At approximately 8:59 p.m., a massive explosion took place at the Monroe subway station. A large fire has erupted from within the station, causing the deaths of 20 people and injuring countless others. As of now, flammable chemicals remain in the subway tunnels. All subway stations have been closed off, and all civilians have been evacuated. The threat of house fires still remains, as the Chicago Fire Department continues to struggle to put out existing fires. We advise all civilians residing in the city of Chicago to report all fires by calling the Chicago Fire Department or dialing 911. Do not travel. All roadways must be kept open for
The following message is being transmitted at the request of the Chicago Fire Department and the Chicago Police Department. At 9:27 p.m. Central Standard Time, a large fire has broken out from the top floor of the Willis Tower. An incendiary weapon has detonated from inside the building. A total of 1,000 civilians have been killed in the explosion. The Chicago Fire Department is struggling to put out the remaining fires in the city of Chicago. As a precaution, a 5-block radius of the Willis Tower has been closed off until further notice. All roads near the building have been closed off. If you are within a 5-block radius of the Willis Tower, seek shelter now or move away from the building. The Chicago Fire Department will be evacuating civilians from the Willis Tower. Please stay tuned to this or other news outlets for the latest information on this situation. The following message is being transmitted at the request of the Chicago Fire Department and the Chicago Police Department. At 10:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, a confirmed report of a plane crashing into the Chicago Midway International Airport has been received. A massive fire has broken out from the crash site and is now spreading throughout the airport. The Chicago Midway International Airport has been closed off, and all civilians near the airport are being evacuated at this time. All incoming flights to Chicago have been diverted to the O'Hare International Airport. Please stay tuned for more updates as they become available.
the west side of the airport has been completely destroyed from the crash. The fire resulting from the crash continues to spread throughout the building, igniting other airplanes caught near the site. Evacuations out of the airport are continuing at a significantly slower pace. The fire reported in the Monroe subway station has spread to other stations in the city of Chicago. Train cars containing the flammable chemicals have exploded as a result. The fire reported inside the Willis Tower does not appear to be growing at this time, but evacuations out of the building have come to a halt. As of now, all civilians in the city of Chicago have been ordered to remain in an underground shelter for the rest of the night. Travel in and out of the city has been deemed unsafe. If you are on the road, abandon your vehicle and head to the nearest underground shelter. We have just received word that 3 fighter jets have been spotted flying above the skies of Chicago. They appear to be headed towards the
The following message is being transmitted by order of the Governor of the State of Illinois and the United States government. This is not a test. A confirmed attack against the United States is occurring at this time. At around 11:48 p.m., 3 fighter jets have crashed into the O'Hare International Airport. The jets have released flammable chemicals into the airport upon impact. Another large fire has broken out of the 60th floor of the Willis Tower. An additional fighter jet has crashed into the Chicago Midway International Airport. The Governor of Illinois has placed the city of Chicago under a state of emergency. All residents receiving this message are instructed to head to an underground shelter now. The Chicago Fire Department will be attempting to put out the remaining fires in the city of Chicago. Please stand by.
This is WBBM News Radio. An emergency action notification remains in effect for the United States until further notice. For those of you just tuning in, a confirmed attack against the United States is in progress. At 11:59 p.m., a large group of individuals have entered the city of Chicago through Northerly Island, the Navy Pier, and the Belmont Harbor. These individuals have opened fire at law enforcement personnel upon arrival. Some individuals are carrying an unknown type of weaponry, which are capable of firing large beams of energy. The beams have started small fires near the area. These individuals are confirmed to be members of a terrorist group known as the Firestorm faction. The Firestorm faction is responsible for crashing fighter jets into the O'Hare International Airport and the Chicago Midway International Airport. The group is also responsible for the fires spreading throughout the city of Chicago earlier in the evening. The reason for these attacks are unknown at this time. The United States government is sending in the United States military to attempt to detain the members of the Firestorm faction. If you are receiving this message, it is strongly encouraged to remain in an underground shelter at this time. If you spot any members of the Firestorm faction, do not attempt to apprehend them. This is WBBM News Radio.
Time is running out. We have made our presence known long ago. Make your next move while you still can, or burn like the rest of them.
The following message is being transmitted by order of the Governor of the State of Illinois. This is a mandatory evacuation order. An explosion has taken place from within the first floor of the Willis Tower. The fires continue to spread to the remaining floors of the building. The Willis Tower is at risk of collapsing at this time. All residents receiving this message are ordered to evacuate now. Bring all necessary supplies when evacuating, including food, water, clothing, medical supplies, and a battery-powered radio. Use only one vehicle per family. Do not take alternate routes when evacuating. The Willis Tower is expected to collapse in the next 50 minutes. Evacuate now. The following message is being transmitted by order of the Governor of the State of Illinois and the Chicago Fire Department. At approximately 12:58 a.m., the fires originating from the Willis Tower have been extinguished. According to the Chicago Fire Department, an unidentified individual entered the building from the top floor, and the fires were put out upon arrival. Further investigation shows that the flames have turned into large ice crystals, and the interior walls have been frozen. The whereabouts of this individual are unknown at this time. If you plan on evacuating out of the city of Chicago, do it now. Otherwise, return to your homes immediately and head to an underground shelter. The Firestorm faction remains at large. Please stay tuned for more updates as they become available.
Everyone stay away from the bridge. Stay away from the bridge. Help is on the way. Huh? Hey!
The following message is being transmitted by order of the Governor of the State of Illinois and the United States military. At approximately 1:32 a.m. Central Standard Time, the Firestorm faction has detonated an incendiary weapon at the Dusable Bridge. A few minutes after the explosion, the flames have dissipated and turned into ice crystals, and the bridge has been frozen solid. The individual's identity is unknown at this time, but the United States military will be conducting an investigation upon the city of Chicago. The individual can be described as a 20 to 24-year-old female, standing at around 5 feet tall, and was last seen wearing a blue dress, blue gloves, and silver boots. The individual has the ability to fly at an extremely high speed. If you spot somebody matching the description of the individual, contact the Chicago Police Department or dial 911 immediately.
States military continues to search for a mysterious individual spotted flying throughout the city of Chicago. This individual was responsible for extinguishing the fires inside the Willis Tower. Just recently, the Dusable Bridge has been completely frozen solid after the Firestorm faction detonated an incendiary weapon. Civilians and military personnel on site sustained no injuries from the ice. The Chicago Fire Department has confirmed that the chemical fires in the subway tunnels have been completely extinguished. Firefighting units are now moving towards the two airports that have sustained major damage to their infrastructure. Law enforcement personnel remain baffled as to who is
The following message is being transmitted by order of the Governor of the State of Illinois, the United States Military, and the Department of Homeland Security. At 2:13 a.m., the Firestorm faction has detonated a large incendiary weapon at the University of Chicago. The group has claimed the lives of over 20,000 civilians within the past 6 hours. The United States military is struggling to hold back the Firestorm faction from detonating another incendiary weapon in the city of Chicago. In addition, the United States military has fully identified the individual flying throughout the city of Chicago. The individual's name is Yukina, a 22-year-old white female, standing at 5 feet 10 inches tall and weighing in at 140 pounds, with pale skin, pale blue hair, and blue eyes. Yukina can be seen wearing a silver chest plate over a blue and silver dress, blue gloves, and blue and silver boots. Yukina has the ability to freeze objects at will and create structures made of ice. The United States military orders all civilians to remain in their underground shelters. If you spot Yukina in your area, do not attempt to approach her. The Firestorm faction remains at large. Do not attempt to leave your shelters.
We have just received word from the United States military that the Firestorm faction is fleeing the city of Chicago. The members have left the city on airplanes and boats. Remaining members have been detained. Yukina appears to be chasing after the Firestorm faction. It seems as if the battle
Good night, Chicago.